This year, I'm upgrading to the iPhone 16 Pro in natural titanium. It features a 6.3-inch Super Retina XDR display, delivers 2000 nits of peak brightness, as well as 1 nit of minimum brightness. Along with that, it has a 120Hz ProMotion adaptive refresh rate for one of the best looking displays out there utilizing the wide color P3 gamut. The processor is the A18 Pro chip to help power the upcoming Apple Intelligence that is expected to have a bunch of software upgrades in upcoming iOS 18 releases. All the models launch with the action button as well as the new camera control button too that takes advantage of the Pro camera system, featuring a 48 megapixel fusion camera and a sick 4K 120 video recording option. With all this power, it has an improved battery life offering up to 27 hours of video playback and up to 85 hours of audio playback. And if you're running low on juice, it has a faster charging rate, as long as you're using a 30 watt rated power adapter to charge up to 3,582 milliamp hour battery. This is an amazing device for those of you who utilize your phone for work and leisure. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm here to talk about this device over the past week, using it as a first impression and go over the new camera control button and some important settings to maximize all the new features. Not gonna lie, with all the hype around AI, I was kind of excited to make the upgrade from my iPhone 13 Pro. I really wanted to make the jump last year, literally just for USB-C since my wife is an Android user, but I opted against it. So waiting another year, I got a few incremental upgrades against the 15 Pro, but bigger gains coming from the 13 Pro. Now, I know they haven't really changed the design since the iPhone 11, and it's one of those things where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But one of the first things I've noticed is it still feels like a premium product, and I mean that both from the price and to the build quality. Apple does a really good job at designing and speccing out the feeling of the phone and the design since the iPhone 11 already. I've always wanted to go Pro Max, but I have average hand sizes, and hearing that they bumped up the sizes on the Pro model, now offering 6.3-inch display and thinner bezels, I was happy to hear I can still keep the same form factor without having to buy the Pro Max essentially. I do like the upgrade of the titanium on the side railings from the stainless steel. It does show some fingerprint oils, but compared to the fingerprint magnet of the 13 Pro, I'll take this one any day. This is where you can find the volume control, action button, and new camera control button. The buttons themselves feel more flush compared to my old device, and as usual, very tactile, but I'll miss playing with the silent toggle switch. Before the camera control, there were already a handful of ways of opening the camera app. You could swipe from the home screen, the action button, pull down, or even utilize the home screen button as well. And obviously the camera app itself. And now we have the camera button, camera control button. Excuse me, Apple. I was immediately impressed by how much faster the camera app opened on my new device compared to the old one. This is a huge improvement because in the past, I've missed capturing adorable moments of my child due to camera lag. Now I can quickly snap a photo and preserve these precious moments. Now I know this isn't due to the camera control itself, but a combination of the A18 Pro chip, the Fusion camera, the camera interface, and the new 2nd gen quad pixel sensor. With that combo, you even get zero shutter lag on the 48 megapixel Pro RAW and HEIF. Not like I use that anyway. But for those pros out there, you get zero shutter lag on the 40 megapixel Pro RAW. As for the control portion of the camera control, in photo mode, you can control stuff like exposure, depth, zoom, cameras, and the new styles and tone. However, in video mode, a few of those options are grayed out. I don't know why they just didn't remove them from the option, but I guess it keeps it consistent. It does a good job of mimicking an actual camera shutter button, except for the fact that they don't have the half press to focus, which Apple said it would come in a future update, but who knows when that'll come. I think learning this new layout and camera control is going to take a little bit of time to get used to, especially when holding the phone vertically. I still naturally default to using the screen to make changes as I find it a little bit faster still. Even holding the phone in landscape mode, it's just a tad too far still for me to utilize my pointer finger to compare this to my Sony ZV-E10, if you look at the placement of the shutter button, it feels too far in. Now I'm not saying that I have large hands or anything, but I speculate this camera control placement is actually designed for vertical use. It sits perfectly for my thumb, even with this with my left hand, it aligns nicely with my middle finger. I had the opportunity to use this recently at the zoo and snap some quick pics here and there, and while being with the family, so please excuse some of the lack of composition here.
San Francisco Zoo, too close. Hey, you guys are too comfortable out here, man.
When I got home, I wanted to edit these new photographic styles because Apple said you can apply them afterwards, but I couldn't because I didn't have the right settings. So this is very important if you want to utilize those styles after shooting the photo. You want to go to your settings, camera, formats, and make sure you select high efficiency. Once you do that, you can take any photos and edit those styles after the fact and not worry about selecting the right style at the right time. I was also pretty excited about the video recording capability offered with the 4K 120. I plan on using this mode to do a lot more B-roll since I drink too much coffee, as well as I have shaky hands already naturally. And even my ZVE 10 doesn't have a 4K 120 option, so it'd be really great to capture B-rolls on here instead.
Wash my face, start my day. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day.
As for the day-to-day use of this device itself, the battery is top-notch. I feel like I barely charge it until the very end of the night. Some days I wait till even the next day to charge too. Granted, I do work from home and I do have a lot of screen on time, but we will see how this holds up over time. And with the iOS 18, and as long as you have a 16 or 15 model, you can even set the charging limit too to help prolong the battery health. The 18 Pro is hella quick, honestly. It offers up to a 40% CPU bump and 50% GPU bump, so I can scroll social media faster with even more smoothness. And it honestly just opens up applications much quicker. The action button, I'm pretty excited about. I actually kind of have set it up for Claude. I find it really handy for when I cook and need some sort of quick tips or recipes on how to like bake stuff or cut stuff. It's pretty handy, but I'll probably program it to even utilize specific apps based on what kind of focus mode I have throughout the day. The dynamic island is a neat feature to keep track of stuff like timers, AirPod battery indicators, or quickly tap back to whatever I was listening to. And the speakers are actually much louder and sound fuller when compared to my iPhone 13 Pro, which is nice when I want to watch YouTube or listen to podcasts while doing errands. Also, I actually recorded most of this voiceover directly off of this 16 Pro without any sort of post-processing editing. So what you're hearing is directly off of here at the end of the day. Yep, see? Here, voiceover number 2, because I suck at recording. Now, all in all, I wasn't sure if this was the right time to upgrade, but I'm glad that I did. Going into this, I was a little bit hesitant to make the jump because I wasn't sure if there's a big enough upgrade, but now 3 generations later, there's still a sizable gap. It doesn't sound too large on paper, but each little incremental quality of life improvement makes this upgrade worth it to me. I'm a little bit cynical with my smartphone as I do love using it, but I do try to spend less time on it too. I probably could have kept my iPhone 13 Pro a little bit longer as my daily driver. It still does everything the iPhone 16 Pro does, obviously, except for one thing: Apple Intelligence.